All right, we're going to talk about music and how you can make money off of it with someone who actually has. He is my friend Alex in the band Fadeless. So let's do this. I'm just going to wait for him to come on and some of you to come on. And then we can start talking about making money through music. And hopefully you can take some of this knowledge and use it in your own passions, your own interests. And this is Alex from my hi everybody. Alex, my friend, he makes music. He makes rock music with hip-hop elements in particular. So I am waiting for him. Is that him? I can't tell. Is that you? I'm gonna ask you if that's you, because I don't know what account he's gonna message me from. Are you? Hi. So yeah, we're about to go live and talk about music. Let me check. But if this is not you, I'm gonna have to wait and exit this one. So let's see. So yeah, my friend Alex has been making music for many years, and he started, I think around, there he is. Oh, I think that was the same person when he started. Here we go. Hey Monica, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, what up, man?
Not much. I think I was logged into the wrong account there for a second, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I
So,
had to switch over.
yeah, so what I was saying is like you actually like you have a huge passion for music, as do I. I'm mostly into rap, and I've been curious about how do you go about monetizing something that, I don't want to say it doesn't provide like value, but you really someone has to sit on it to be like, wow, this is something special. It takes time. It's not like here's financial advice and opinions, pay me $50 and you're gonna get guaranteed rate of return, right? So
For sure.
yeah, so tell me about that. How did you go about making money off of music?
Okay, so oh man, where do I start? Yeah, like you said, there is no real. I mean, there's value, of course. I mean, it's entertainment and people get emotional value through it and all this kind of thing. But I would say the first thing is treating it just like any other business. That's really what it comes down to. It's like it's no different from selling any other product, really. It's knowing your fan base, knowing who this is going to concern, who would enjoy it, and then learning about that demographic, and then going into how do they think, what do they purchase besides music, like what are their habits, what's their lifestyle like. It goes way deeper than just the music itself. See the music as the vehicle to be able to sell other products.
Wow, that's pretty deep. And I'm sorry, you should definitely introduce yourself. I know I talked about you for a little bit before you hopped on, but tell them who you are, what you do.
So my name is Alex. I have multiple different projects. The one he was talking about is called Fadeless, which is like a rock, electronic, hip hop thing. But I produce all kinds of music actually. In the last 10 years, I've done everything from EDM to hip hop to you name it. I've probably dabbled in it. So I've been doing this for a while. I grew up in a musical family, so I kind of had the the pleasure and the I just got lucky enough to learn the business side growing up, right from the source, as my parents made a living in music for the last 40 years actually. So but things have changed a lot since they were doing their thing, so I had to relearn a lot of stuff as well and learn what's happening now and how it works now.
Mm. That's pretty interesting. And what I want to point out is like your band is cool and there's traction on Spotify and you guys are getting consistent streams, which is just really like everyone aims for that. And there's a certain threshold that you have to pass to actually be like, ah, now I have fans. Because I feel like a lot of people do make quality music and it's just like they don't know the next step. They created a product,
Yeah.
they created something amazing, but now what?
Dude, that's the one thing that I see more than anything, and it hurts like to hear like really good music, but then they don't know how to, to breach that barrier. They have no idea what to do next. And I mean, we can talk about that a little bit if you're interested.
Definitely break it down, because I think this applies to more than just music. When you have like something you're passionate about and you want to turn it into a side hustle or a main hustle, you have to think creatively, and you definitely have that down. A lot of people feel like, oh, it's selling out if you start selling and profiting off of your passion. But I think that it's respecting your passion, it's respecting your art, to find a way to market it in a way where it can be consumed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it really comes down to if you're serious about paying your bills doing it, or like you said, just as a side hustle, you know, having another income stream, you got to make money off the shit. There's no way around it, you know? So, um, someone said something. Oh, sorry, I was reading the comment. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's trolling. That's the young retiree by 33. That guy is trolling. I hope he's trolling. Yeah, that's my buddy.
So let's break it down. So I would say, well, Spotify, I can get into that a little bit later because that's a whole thing in itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different beast. But let's just break down to like how I would approach like any artist, whether you're new, if you're just starting out, or if you've been doing this for years, how I would approach like building a fan base and then monetizing that fan base, because that's all it comes down to, right? It comes down to monetizing the fan base that you built, because it doesn't matter if you have, I don't know, 1 million listeners. Well, okay, if you have 1 million listeners a month, that matters. But if you have, I don't know, a few thousand listeners a month, you know, where do you go from there? And even that can be hard to get, you know, no matter how good your music is. So what I would say is the first thing is have quality music. Know that what you're doing is good for the kind of music that, or the genre that you're in, right? So for yourself, you do hip hop, right?
Yeah, I make a lot of raps, and I never actually thought about monetizing it. I've been doing it for fun, stealing beats, but I'm at the point where I feel like, look, a lot of people have been messaging me, and they're like, I would like to support what you're doing. I play your songs like while I'm driving and things like that. And I'm like, you know what? If you're willing to do this, I should create a space where you can do it, and I can reinvest that money into my YouTube channel, into providing like content here on Funancialism and things like that. And I feel like I've just been like, nah, I don't do it for money. Nah, I don't need to get paid. Nah, it's all free. And I'm like, I could be way better by taking the money and upping my craft with better equipment and things like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree completely. I mean, if people enjoy it, you know, why not do more of it? And obviously it's easier to do more of it if you're actually making some sort of financial gain from it and you can invest into it. So the first step I would say is you need a vehicle to be able to get your music in front of people. That's the first thing. I don't care how good your music is. If no one hears it, no one gives a shit. Just straight up. So to do that, I personally use Facebook ads and Instagram ads. There's very specific ways to use this, though. It's not just because I know a lot of people use ads and don't get the results, and it's because they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
And that's just straight honesty there. And it sucks because people throw money at it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to return if you don't set up everything properly. So little background there. I've been learning marketing for the last 5 years, especially digital marketing. So I actually have a pretty good solid background in running ads and campaigns and reading analytics and then making more campaigns based on those analytics. But that's the first thing you need is a way to get your music in front of people. And I said, Facebook and Instagram ads. And I mean, this conversation can last hours just on that subject alone.
You're here for hours. I'm just kidding. The Instagram will push us off in about 50 minutes. It just exits out. You won't even get a notification. I will, and I'll be like, 1 minute left.
1 minute.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep going down what's essentially is a sales funnel. That's really what you're looking at. You're looking at a sales funnel. The top of the funnel being the introduction to your art, which is what I use Facebook or Instagram for. Mm-hmm. The second thing you need is a way to kind of differentiate who's heard your music from who hasn't heard your music from who doesn't want to hear your music, okay? And again, Facebook and Instagram gives you all that analytic right there. It gives you all the metrics, gives you everything where you can see right there, these people have listened to 75% of my song, these people skipped it, like whatever. And what's cool about that is like, you can tell Facebook, like, take the people that heard 75% of my song and now show them this next ad because you know that they're interested. They've listened to this much. You know, they
Ooh.
watched this much of your video. So now you can only target people that are actually interested, and you're saving money by doing that instead of having to retarget everyone every time. You know what I'm saying?
So real quick, just to like break this down, because I know we're talking about music, but you can probably use this same strategy for a lot of things, especially if
Oh
you're
yeah.
making video content. If you're trying to sell something, like this is all applicable to all of that. And I want to ask, maybe this is kind of an awkward question, and I know in the stock world we talk a lot about like rate of return, but if you were to say put out $500 in ads, what do you have an expected rate of return?
Yeah, so that all depends on what kind of campaign you're trying to run. So what I would say is the first thing you need to do if you want to monetize a fan base is build a fan base. So that's where you're going to be putting a lot of money in, and you're not going to get a direct return on investment on that. You're going to just build that over time. And then once that's built, I mean, that's not to say that some people won't buy your stuff right away or a t-shirt or whatever, because some people just will because they just like you that much. But what you're really trying to do is build like a mass of people that you then can monetize later. Nice. Um, so that's really what you're looking at doing. So you'll make your money back. Like so far, I said we'll get into Spotify a little later, but like all the money I spent on promoting Spotify, I've profited off that so far. I made all my money back and then some. So it's definitely doable, but it didn't happen within a month or two,
Okay.
obviously. You know, it takes time.
Long-term investment. That's what I keep talking about.
Exactly.
And I think the biggest returns come like years from now, especially if you never give up. And I think like typically we think of musicians as people who are like really young, like closer to zero than they are to 50. But that's changing like in this world of technology where like we have like a closer connect with the generation that comes after us. Like I feel like millennials and Gen Z, like we're like this. Like you like anime, we love anime, you know?
Hell yeah.
So when it comes to like music, I think we overlap a lot. And I think people get discouraged where they're like, oh, I'm 30, oh, I'm 40, oh, I'm 50. I can't do this. And, you know, it takes, you're not, just because you don't blow up and have a show with Kendrick doesn't mean you're not successful. Your page,
Oh yeah.
you know, you don't have a million followers and you're still able with a few thousand to create something that generates some profit, which is so awesome. And people don't think about that. They don't consider like, can you live like middle class off of music? Can you make like 5-figure salary like maybe someone like a teacher would make? Can you make a 6-figure salary like someone who's entry into programming can make? And I think the answer is yes. And we just look at like the superstars, you know, like if it's not
Yeah.
300,000, I'm not successful. So you're definitely breaking that stereotype and turning it into something that I think is more accessible for the average person.
Yeah, let's talk about the middle class musician for a while,
Yeah.
because I feel like that is really what it comes down to. Like, yeah, like you said, people look at like the Kendricks, the Ed Sheerans, all this, and they're like, oh, you're either nothing or you're that. But there's this huge gray area in the middle, exactly what you said, where you can make a normal salary off of this, and you might not be a household name, but you're doing what you love, and you're living really good off, especially depending on where you live, you know? There's some places that are obviously cheaper to live, but what you're looking at is, I mean, when I see like these huge numbers, especially if you're buying followers and likes, that doesn't amount to shit ever. So don't do that. It's vanity metrics. It looks nice and it doesn't do anything. And it actually can make you look worse. There's some bands I've seen live that were local and they had like 50K followers. And when I went to the club, there was literally less than 20 people there. It's like, where are all your followers at? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's stupid.
Right.
So, you know, it's the general rule of thumb that I hear all the time, and I would adjust this a little bit, but they say if you have 1,000 true fans that spend $100 a year on you, well, it's $100,000.
Right.
Just saying, you know, and obviously that's, I would say, you know, say 5,000 fans, because like, come on, you know, taxes, all that shit.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, the cost to acquire those fans, there's a lot involved in that. So I would say, yeah, like maybe if you can get 4,000 or 5,000 true fans, spend $100, and how much is $100? Like a hoodie's like what, $40? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not that much
year round. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not that much to ask of people. And honestly, at this point, there's people in a music world that most people have never heard of, making easily $15,000-$20,000 a month is crazy, just through Spotify. I'm not even talking about any other revenue streams here, just Spotify alone. And it can really, yeah, it can be something if you know what you're doing and you devote yourself to what you're doing and you're good at it. And you know how to kind of do the other, like the marketing shit,
Yeah.
you know?
So I got a question, but I want to say hi to my girlfriend, Sienna. Hi. You met her, by the way. You remember that. We went on a trip. He helped me get that mic right there that I've been using.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been putting in work into it. But my question is for you, how would you guide me to starting? Like, I'm at 0, and I feel like I can make a good song. What should I do next?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the first thing I would recommend doing is, so for Facebook and Instagram, you want a video. That's going to be your best bet. You want a video to be able to promote it. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be done on a cell phone. You don't have to pay anything for it. And honestly, like if I'm talking about my own experience, I've paid for music videos, and then I've done the very first music video for like 20 bucks. The only like cost I had was renting the rehearsal space, and that video is done better than any other video we've done. So the more candid it looks, the more viral it looks, the more like low quality it looks, actually the better it usually performs.
Interesting.
And I feel that's like, because if we're on the internet a lot, you see these flashy, glossy ads all the time, but you stop when something looks like it could have been posted by, say, your friend or something, right? It grabs your attention. So what I would suggest you do is make a video for it of you performing it live if you can, or, you know, pantomime if you have to, but if you can do it live, do it live. And yeah, just set up a cell phone, record you doing it, and then you would do what's called a video view ad. You're not asking anyone to do anything. You're just placing it in front of them. There's no check me out. There's no buy button. Just a cool caption, like maybe hottest verse of the year, something that'll get people interested, right? And just leave it there. And because that'll give you all the data you need to retarget them. So that's what I would say is the first step, is make a really basic live performance video on a cell phone or something in your room, and make sure it looks really good, make sure it sounds really good, and yeah, Facebook and Instagram add that shit.
Okay, so you actually pay for Instagram ads. Can you tell us how that works?
Yeah, so what I would suggest, because you can do the boost on Instagram, and it works depending on what you're trying to do, but I would go to business.facebook.com and make an actual business account. And it'll give you like the ads manager platform where you can see all your stats and everything, and you can place ads from there to Instagram or Facebook as well. And that's really where you're going to be spending the money. If you can manage to make the music like yourself, like I myself make everything myself here. I might send some stuff out to get mixed and mastered, so that's a fee. But like, you're really gonna be spending the money on ads. That's really what you're looking at.
So most musicians, like, that's where their like constant like costs go into. It's kind of like buying stocks. Like every month you have to put in a certain amount of money into your ads to get returns later down the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what it looks like. So yeah, if you can have like a monthly budget that you can spend on ads and the different kind of campaigns that you want to run, like with the different objectives, that's what I would be like, yeah, make like a spreadsheet and be like, okay, I'm gonna put $100 into people finding me, like an introduction, right? Then maybe the people that already found me, maybe I'll put $50 a month into re-educating them with more material so they kind of get to know me even better, you know, and then like you can just work your way down the funnel to sales, you know?
Okay, that's pretty cool. But how would I go about like setting up an account? Like, where am I funneling them to? My Instagram, or is it, how do I even have a Spotify account? How do I even like post a song onto Apple, YouTube, Spotify, all at the same time?
Okay, so what you're gonna need is, so for the Facebook or the ad account, like I just said, it's business.facebook.com. It's super simple. You put in like a credit card or a method of payment, whatever, and it'll set everything up for you. You will need a page, like an artist page or whatever, or at least I would suggest you have one. And the same on Instagram, I would change it to a business account. There's like an option in the settings to do that. And from there, you can kind of run ads. So in regards to getting your stuff everywhere, we were talking about DistroKid, and we're going to touch on that right now. I personally have never used them, but I've heard horror stories about them, from terrible customer support. I know they don't collect all your royalties, which is shit. I know that people outside the US are having problems with them in regards to them for some reason withhold, sometimes, not like all the time, but sometimes randomly withholding 30% of the royalties that they did collect for tax reasons and shit. There's a lot of YouTube videos on it from bigger musicians that are really pissed at them right now. So personally, I'd never use them. I'd stay away from them. Just,
Yeah.
just to not even
So
get involved.
what would you use?
I use, in the past, I've used CD Baby, and currently for the last years, and I'm never probably going to switch away from this, I'm using TuneCore. So TuneCore, you pay an $80, you don't have to, but you can pay an $80 upfront fee. That's a lifetime thing where they collect all your royalties from all countries and shit, which is great. And then you're just paying for a single, I think it's $10 a year. So it's a yearly subscription to keep your single up there. And then for an album, I think it's $30 a year per album and per single.
Okay.
Which is obviously it costs more than DistroKid, which is like $30 a year for like a pro membership or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it gives you, I don't know, like if you're making money off of it, that's nothing to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What's $10 if you're making hundreds or thousands of dollars off that song?
Right. Yeah. So it's, I see that, like, you have to break at least $10, which is really hard, I think, in the beginning to do. And once you get the ball rolling, like, you can be making like a couple $100s a month, if not more. So I guess my concern is like putting in all of these investments and like they'll add up, and like I'll be putting out like a single like every week, I think, or every couple weeks, because like I like to make a bunch of songs and I like to release them, and I want people to like keep up with my latest and greatest. So at the end of the year, if I'm doing that, that's like what, 52 weeks in a year, that's like $520 right there.
It starts adding up the more you release. So I can see for someone like yourself that DistroKid looked a lot more attractive,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like uploads, but you can use both. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
You don't have to just use one.
Mm-hmm.
You could do like maybe for the singles that you really think are going to be like, oh, this is like really hot shit, you can use TuneCore. Just, again, for the royalty collection, if you need customer support, it's really good, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then for the stuff that you feel like is good, but you don't feel is like, oh, that's a 10 out of 10 or whatever, you can still use DistroKid. You can use a combination of different distributors.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And my other question is, like, when it comes to music and just like items in general, you're kind of like pushing other products. So how would you go about like selling and making a profit? Because a song is like what, like $1 or 70 cents or something like that. Have you ever charged people like $5 for a song? Like, if you support me, you support me. Like, you could download it for free illegally, or you could like pay. Or do you, like, how do you push to make income? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, so what I would do is that, like, I myself have given away my stuff for free in exchange for an email address, because it's all on the email list. The thing is that, yes, ads get you that initial, I guess, fan base. But if you want to be able to contact that fan base to make offers, sales, updates, whatever, without having to pay every time, it's in the email list. Because once you have their email, you can contact them for free. You don't need ads anymore to be in connection with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it comes down to. Like, if you don't have a return path, then your marketing sucks. You need a way to be in contact with them again, right? This is why Facebook is cool, because you can like say, okay, only this ad only goes to people that like my page. This ad's only going to the people that watch this much percentage of this video or whatever. So it gives you a return path, but you need to be able to get them onto an email list. And what I did to do that is I ran an ad saying, hey, get all my songs for free. And then to do that, obviously I would have to put in an email, and they would end up on my email list that way. And now I can reach out to them whenever I want, and like I can, again, run an offer if I wanted to, or give them more free music. I always feel like you need to give them more value than you're asking for. Just you want to nurture that relationship. It's like a person-to-person relationship. It's no different. So you want to give more value than they're spending on you.
How do you go? How do you go about like putting the whole package together. Like, okay, like a song usually comes with a video. It usually comes with like it goes on YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, a whole bunch of different places. And it also goes on you need a visual for it, like a picture. So on Spotify it's going to be a whole thing. So there's just so much to go into. And I'm totally on board with what you're saying about give that value, more value than people deserve. And that's kind of what I've been doing here with Financialism. Is I know there's a huge need for financial wisdom, for financial health. So I'm just every day for free, take everything. People have offered like, hey, can you coach me one-on-one? And I'm like, I could, but I also made all these free videos with everything I would tell you. So like you could
Gotcha.
watch those. So I totally get I'm not afraid of like, here's everything that I put like 20 hours of work in for free. Because at the end of the day, I think people are paying out of respect rather than necessity when it comes to music.
Yeah, for sure. No one needs a t-shirt, bro. Everyone has t-shirts, you know, like no one needs a hoodie, but they want that hoodie because they respect you as an artist and you somehow connect with them. You know, they want to support you in that way. So I completely agree. Plus, let's be honest, with YouTube and stuff, they could listen to your music all day for free if they wanted to, you know? It's like they don't need you to give it to them, but you might as well, like you said, like give them some unreleased stuff, like, you know, stuff that you don't put out on Spotify or whatever. Give them some stuff only the email subscribers will have. Give them something special. Give them maybe behind the scenes content, maybe you recording the song, you know, stuff like that that really makes them feel like they're more than just another stream to you,
Right.
you know?
And speaking of streams and capitalization and evil, where would you try to funnel everyone? Do you want everyone to listen to your song on Facebook? Do you want everyone to listen on Instagram? Do you want them to listen on Spotify? Or do you not care? And it's just like the more the better, the more spread out, the better.
Well, when coming to a social platform, I would focus on one, whichever you prefer. For me at this moment, people say Facebook is dead. That is bullshit. Let me tell you, even when it comes to younger people, we have 2.5 billion active users a month, and a lot of those are younger. That is by far the biggest social platform. Instagram's only at 1 billion monthly, and I think Snapchat's at 42 million monthly active users. You can't even compare.
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook is a good place to target, but it also depends on what kind of music you're making. Like, where does your fan base hang out? Where's the people in your niche hang out, you know? Like, if they're all hanging out on Instagram, then that's maybe where you want to be. If they're all on Facebook, then if they're on both, then it doesn't matter. I did, you know, realize I haven't talked about YouTube yet because that's a whole different ballgame. But when it comes to Spotify, Apple, really, it doesn't matter. I feel like Spotify is the most used when it comes to these streaming platforms. So I've never done ads or like targeted campaigns towards other platforms. It's always Spotify for me because that just for me makes the most sense because that's where most people are. So, yeah. So I don't really care what they listen to, but if I'm targeting something, it's gonna be Spotify.
Okay. And I've noticed that you've gone on tours before. Can you talk about rate of returns and like investing into tickets, traveling to a place? Like, what is that all about?
Dude, like, okay, so that's why I love the modern way of doing things. Like, it used to be, again, because I did grow up in a family that made a living touring. That's really where the income came from, and it was full time. And it's expensive. Like, we lived in Germany, and that's where all our gigs were. Well, I mean, we did all over Europe, but like when we did Poland or whatever, yeah, you had to do like gas costs. You had to include, well, hotel stays was usually booked by the guy who was, you know, buying us for the gig or whatever, but it did still come from the rate that you're making, if that makes sense. Like, it might not be calculated that way, but you're paying for it yourself in the end. So what I like about these days is like you know exactly how much fan base you have in a country. So like for myself, like Germany is one of the biggest countries for Fatalists, and so is England. But I know that if I wanted to say book a place over there that can hold 200 people, 300 people, I would need to book multiple to make my airplane ticket back and whatever else expense I got for that.
Okay.
But I know that through my analytics, through Facebook and whatever, I can kind of get a good guesstimate of how much I'm going to sell, you know? And in that instance, say I do know that, okay, Germany, I have a really hot audience. I want to play, I don't know, say 10 dates over there, right?
Hmm.
I could run ads to just Germany to just build my name up in that area some more, so I have more people coming out, and then I can retarget them with ticket offers, and that I can show the promoter, hey, look, in your city, I have this many listeners. I can get very specific with that data. That can help me get gigs and obviously monetize the event as well.
Is there like a specific time where like you invested like say $600 or like a specific number, and then you went on the tour, you did the 10 days, and then you came back and you had like $1,000, which is like 400 more, and like a whole bunch of new fans? Like, do you have a specific example of like your money transforming and as well as growing your audience?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is like whenever we've gone on tour, it's always been profitable. There's no way you're taking the L on that one. It's too expensive, dude. Like, so you need to know that you're coming home with at least a few $1,000s in pockets. Because I mean, realize this also. If you're working a normal 9 to 5, you have to take off from that. You have to replace all the money that you're losing from being, going to your normal day job or whatever it is. If you have one, if it's all music, then I guess that kind of works itself out. But you know, everyone has to kind of make sure that they're making that money back plus some to kind of make it worth it.
Okay.
So, and that's, again, I see a lot of bands like they put themselves in a hole because they think the experience is cool. But as far as I care, like, I mean, obviously I want to be able to play for fans. I want to connect live. That's an artist thing. But from a financial standpoint of any business, you got to make a return on it to make it worthwhile.
Hmm. Do you have a return percentage goal or anything like that? Or is it kind of like up in the air? Can you predict it?
Yeah, I would say it really comes down to how many gigs you're going to get and, what the rate is per gig. And then obviously the merch sales at the gigs are always, way better than online. I'd say you sell way more merch at a gig than you would through like your online store or something like that.
Wow. So when you're doing a show, like, is your goal to like subtly like hint at the merch or anything like that? Is that part of like how you're hoping to break even and then make profit?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a huge way. I mean, sometimes I remember from just the amount of CD sales, we sometimes made more than the actual gig paid straight up. So,
Wow.
you can really monetize that. I mean, that also comes down to having a really, really solid live show, though. If you have
Okay.
a really solid live show, you're going to kill it. Then yeah, people are going to obviously want something to remember it by, and that can be CD, shirts, whatever else you have to offer.
That's pretty awesome. But right now, the world is kind of shut down. Well, I don't want to say it's shut down, but it's getting turned on differently. That was a weird way to say things. But something, it's different than it was before. So how are
For sure.
you negotiating this? How are you able to still do what you love to do and, survive?
Well, thankfully, online is such a great like place, and I don't know if you know about like the rates on Twitch and like different streaming
Mhm.
platforms like that, but those pay really good. I mean, I haven't gotten into it myself yet, but I do plan on it by the end of the year to kind of start doing like a weekly, maybe bi-weekly like Twitch stream, things like that. But if you can get yourself into that area, that's where the money's at. You need some, so as a musician, I'd say in general, you need some kind of reoccurring content.
Mhm.
Like you can't just keep pushing out songs. I mean, you can, but it gets hard, because you got to be creative, and it takes a lot of energy to put something together that's worthwhile, in my opinion, at least. And so when you have another way of giving content to people, that keeps them interested in what you're doing, that keeps them streaming the music, that keeps them checking you out, and that keeps you growing. So whether it's like a YouTube channel or a podcast or a live stream or whatever it
Yeah.
is, you need something to keep coming back in front of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think I learned a lot from everything that you said. And I kind of am, even though like you pushed against DistroKid, I'm leaning towards going to DistroKid, having that one-time cost, putting my name out there. And then when I see that there's momentum, to switch to something that respects the artist more. Um,
Gotcha.
that's kind of what I got from you here. And I also got the idea of like shirts and all of that, which I think I think the theme of today is that's its own animal. So there's
Yeah.
like a lot of things that go into a business, especially something like music, where there's so many different angles and perspectives, where it's just like, what do I start with? I didn't want to be like a clothing company, and all of a sudden, like, I'm a manager of clothing. So that's really cool. I want to play one of your songs like here in the background real quick.
Sure.
Do you have a particular one that you want me to play?
Skin is the newest release, so
Let's do it. Let me find
Skin.
that skin. Oh, snap. I see it. I see it. That's some cool art. Okay, here we go. Here
Thank
we
you.
go.
Oh, you want to talk about the art
I
and all
do
that
want to
stuff that
talk
goes
about the
into it.
art. Yeah. How did you, that's definitely a question. Let me just play this real quick because I want people to know like your skill set and where you're at, but this is what it looks like. That's his art right there. So pretty cool. I don't know if you saw that or if it was just sideways. Did you see it?
I saw it.
Yeah, it's right there. So let's play this. Ooh! Yo! Fire.
Happy you dig it, bro.
Dude, the screams? That's hard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let me pause it here for time's sake because I know IG's gonna kick us off sooner
For
or
sure.
later, and I don't know when that's gonna happen. But man, every time like I listen to you, like, because I listen to you not every day, but like a couple months apart, and like when I come back, I'm like, is that the same guy? And it's always like, oh, what? Whoa, what? Because like that's hard. People don't know how hard it is, like to do screams like that. Like that takes skill. Like there's talent where like yeah you can make like a raw scream, and then there's skill where it's like I need to practice this, I need to get this right. I'm a long-term investor. I have to do shows. I don't want to like burn off. And like you have bands like there's Hollywood Undead, and if you notice like a lot of the members toned it down a little bit, because they can't keep doing it. So that's
It's a lot, dude.
yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
there's a question for you. Here's something I want to know. Burns So Slow blew up massively when it was released. How did you deal with that increase in demand and in turn having to increase the money you spend to meet that demand?
Ooh, good question. So Burn So Slow. What was funny? Okay, so prior to this project, which started about 2 years ago now, a little over 2 years ago, I was taking marketing classes for about 3 years at that point, I think, but I hadn't actually used any of it yet, right? I had no prior practice in it. So with Burn So Slow being the first release of Fadeless, I launched a Spotify campaign, and to my surprise, I like overnight looked at the stats, and it was at like 20,000 or something from like it being at like a few hundred the night before, and I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. And so yeah, we ended up doing the video, like I said, for 20 bucks. Like just rented a rehearsal room, one shot. Like it's still on YouTube. It's at 300,000 now on Facebook, which is
Woo!
really cool. Yeah, it did really well for us, and I knew that like okay, that song is resonating, the video is resonating. It's okay to put money into it because yeah, I'm gonna get some fans through it because people are obviously liking it, and it was cool. Like it really panned out in this way. You know, like a lot of fans still to this day are coming into our ecosystem through Burn So Slow.
Dude,
So I'm really
that
happy
is
about that.
amazing. I'm so happy you're making money through music. And I want to give a shout out to Brian Lay, B-Lay. That guy makes music too. He makes some pretty cool music. I'm a fan. I listen to his stuff pretty often. But we have another question here from someone that I make music with who like makes the beats that I rap over and like we collaborate.
Sick.
And he's asking, do you have any advice on how to approach Spotify playlists?
Yes, I do.
Let's talk. We got about
Okay,
15 minutes,
so
by the way, before we get kicked.
gotcha. Can we talk then? You want to talk about Spotify?
Let's do it. I want to talk about Spotify playlists. How do you go about it? How do you invest money into it?
Okay, so Spotify in itself is a whole beast. Like I said in the beginning, it's an ecosystem, and it's super fucking intelligent. So there's different kinds of playlists. You're looking at algorithmic playlists, which is like your daily mix, your Discover Weekly, your Release Radar, that kind of stuff. Then there's editorial playlists, which are like Rap Caviar, like put together by the Spotify team. And then there is user-generated playlists like the ones you and I would put together. And Spotify starts like the algorithm, at least it's not a person doing this, but they track you. They track you in every single way. And if someone is listening to your stuff and skips it, that's a bad mark for you. At the same time, if someone listens to your stuff and saves it, that's a plus. And they give you a popularity score that you can't actually see. But if you go into the developer's API, like the coding and shit, and you put in your URL and shit, then you can actually see it. That's a whole different thing. We're not going to get into that right now. But with the playlist, so what my recommendation is here, getting on as many playlists as possible does not necessarily mean it's a good thing. It could be bad because, again, when people skip your song, that's a bad mark. So getting on random playlists that have nothing to do with your genre is shit. And I've been there. It's not fun. I did some playlist promotion for our song Tangled Up, and it ended up on like some like boy band playlists, obviously not what it is, and people ended up skipping it, and it really dumbed that song down in regards to how it would be exposed through the algorithmic playlist like Discover Weekly. So my suggestion for playlists is this. Okay, so there's two methods really. You can have a database of curators that you can hit up, much like radio, where you would contact them through email or whatever and be like, hey, this is my song. I've been checking out your playlist. I think it fits. And just please do the research before you pitch to a playlist. Make sure that they're playing your kind of music on that playlist. Don't just randomly hit up because it's hip hop. Make sure it's within your niche of hip hop.
Okay.
The second thing is you can hire different places. That's what I mean, I've done both, but I've had most success with hiring companies to do playlisting for me where they can't guarantee you results, and there's a lot of companies doing it, but most of them are completely scammy because what they'll do is they'll build their own playlists and then they'll just place you on those. And it's like, it's not, they'll fill it up with followers that are bots or whatever, and then it looks like you're getting these, but you're not getting shit.
Belay's going
So
crazy in the comments. He's like, facts. He
so
knows.
what I would say is the company I trust most is Playlist Push. They've been around. They're very reputable. A lot of people have had success through them. Again, I do a lot of different projects that you might not know of that I don't really promote here. And I'm always seeing like, where am I going to get my most interest,
Mm-hmm.
And I always use them as a beginning, like where it's like, is this song going to work? Is this project going to work? Is it going to do well? Like the song you just played, Skin, I just ran a campaign on that about, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And that got on about 14 playlists, which is really good. That's like a 30 or 40% like conversion rate compared to how many it was sent out to, which is like, it's really good.
Wow.
And depending on your genre, though, as I said, rock and metal isn't as popular as it used to be, obviously. Hip hop, EDM, country, pop, those are like the really hot genres. You're going to have a lot more playlists available to you. And also, you're going to be paying more for that, though, because it's just more people listening to it, if that makes sense.
Can you speak on that for a minute and like say how much money should you be willing to invest, especially as a newer artist or as an artist who has a couple hundred fans rather than thousands and tens of thousands? Like, so what playlist should you be paying for and how much?
What I would say is this: if you contact curators personally, you're gonna run into people that want to charge you to be on the playlist. While I, in my own head, see it as just another ad cost, really, as long as the list is legit. I don't see something wrong with it, but I know Spotify is cracking down on those people. So having your song in those playlists might not be the right go-to thing. But if you pay a company to playlist, what I would say, within the first 24 hours of your release, you want to get as much attention on it as possible. And again, the Spotify algorithm is way too complicated to break down in 10 minutes, so I'm not going to do that. But you want to get as much attention as close to release as possible. I would say with a playlisting campaign, spend no less, even for a newer artist, than $500.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what you're looking at, because it doesn't guarantee you shit, but if the song is good, it's going out to a lot of people and it gets you onto a lot of playlists, and the algorithm picks that up. For Burn So Slow, I can say I did about 350.
Okay.
And it only got into 4 playlists, actually, from the 30 it was sent out to, but that was enough to just jumpstart that algorithm. And the next song ended up on Discover Weekly. It's still there 2 years later. And I, that's because of Burn So Slow getting into his playlist and Spotify paying attention to my profile because of it.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then another one I did Playlist Push for, I did another like around 300. And that was Walk Away. And that one got into 9 playlists out of 30 that it was sent to. And that is also still in the Discover Weekly at over 200,000 plays now because of it. So that's 2 years in the Discover Weekly, getting, weekly about 4,000 plays.
Yeah, I'm commenting below because Belay is pretty nice rapper. Like, he's been in the industry for a while, and like he's like saying like, "Yo, this guy knows what he's talking about." I just met up with him.
Oh, cool! Thank
recently.
you.
Yeah, I met up with him recently, and we talked about finance and investing, and he was like, music, but also stocks. So that's kind of my trade here with like a lot of people who are like into music and like making raps, making money off of raps, or like going into debt by buying ads and then waiting for the return. So like,
yeah,
I think like there's a lot that like our two communities could really gain from each other because of, one, like the mindset that I have, and two, the skill set that you have. And I think that, like you said, you have to treat your music as a business. If you do anything else with it, well, like, you'll have fun, but you're not gonna eat.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, Spotify is it's my closing words on Spotify here, but Spotify, you're gonna be funneling some money into it before you see a profit. It's definitely a long-term game. Spotify is not gonna happen overnight. Especially as an independent artist, which you keep all your profit, which is great. You keep all your money, but you're going to be investing in it for maybe a year or so before you really see, you start to get that back. And
That's
if
awesome.
you're cool with that, depending on your genre, if you're doing some weird, like, I don't know, abstract niche shit with 20 fans, I wouldn't even try it. But if you're doing something that has a sizable fan base to it, like hip hop or something, it's worth the investment if you're good at it. In my point of view, but it's going to take you a year or two to make that money back and then some. But once it's going, once you're making that back, it's just going to funnel in monthly. So again, there's some people making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they're not household names.
Wow.
Just saying.
That's definitely something I'm interested in, because my new goal is like, okay, like I love rap, I love finance. Hey, see you, Belay. Nice to see you join us today. I lost my train of thought. No. Oh, okay. So like when you said like these hyper specific niches, because what I want to do is do my rap thing, but like talk about money throughout it. So it's kind of like finance rap, but like I don't want to call it that, but that's what it's gonna be called. And yeah, so I'm gonna play a song right now that I made.
Do it.
And I'm not gonna put it on any like list because I stole the beat, which is something that I'm working on. But I just don't want to make a bad investment. That's my whole thing. So this is the song. Brace yourselves.
100 racks on your wrist, that's a bad investment. Chain on your neck, that's a bad investment. Making payments every month, that's a bad investment. Now you should have tested me. Now you should have tested me. New whip, new chick, new crib, that's a bad investment. You know I trust my guts, follow my intestine. When it come to pain, I don't try to avoid. When it come to voids, I just use them to make noise. Hallelujah, hallelujah, every day is choice. Better pray like Buddha. If I get the wrong voice, I'ma send my boys. And if missing like Bermuda, couldn't find you on the Google, on the web with the boys. That's a black power line, DEI's core line. Even Stevie wondered why. Half the people left behind. Hate on the system, but you are the system. See the answers in your eyes. Keep it real, even Jesus crossed the line. Shady G, aka Funancialism. Invest all your money, it's never enough. Dollar cost average, I'm never gonna stop. My favorite president, bundle of stocks, buying a whore with every drop. Wait, what? I don't know. Maybe it's research, maybe it's love. I come for the future, the market is up. Wait, what? Slow down, huh? It's like what? Wait, what? Slow down, huh? It's like tough. Too many bills, we gotta get paid. Better to budget and maybe you'll save. I heard your story, you're starting to change. Meditate, focus, and learn from the pain. 100 racks on your wrist, that's a bad investment. Chain on your neck, that's a bad investment. Making payments every month, that's a bad investment. Now you should have tested me. Now you should have tested me. Hulu Prime and Netflix, that's a bad investment. Never count on single stocks, only trust indexes. When it comes to pain, I don't try to avoid. When it comes to voids, I just use them to make noise. Hey.
Yeah.
That's dope. I love it.
Thank you. And I want to say shout out to the everyday millennial, Chris, my friend. Congrats on becoming a dad. I don't know if your daughter's in the room. She was born like today. So I'm really happy about that. He's been posting about like her coming into this world for a while. So
Congratulations. That is awesome.
that's a dream of mine too, become a dad one day. So for now, I just father these songs in my room, but we'll get there. And shout out to Michael, who was supposed to call me last night, but didn't. And I just played a song of mine, jerk. But yeah, so I can't actually put that out. Even though it's a good song, I think it's a 10. I think like it's enjoyable and I could play it live and do a lot of fun stuff, but it's not my beat. I downloaded it illegally off of YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be doing that, bro.
I'm too frugal. I'm too frugal to buy beats.
Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, you know what? We should collab.
Hey, I'm hecka down to make a song together. You know the type of beats that I could go off on and the type of beats where I'm like, I'll rap.
I'm down, dude. That'd be fun. And everyone in the comments or whatever that's also a musician, add me, please. Let's talk.
Definitely.
Let's have some fun.
And if you're into
collab, man,
and you're coming from his side of town, like come over here, we'll talk about stocks. But what can I do? Like, obviously, like this is a cool song. Can I promote myself with it without owning the beat? Can I just post it on Instagram and put it out there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could do like YouTube and Instagram. I'm sure you can even do like, again, like ads with it and no one would copyright strike you. I doubt it. Try it out. I mean, really, I've never done that, so I can't really give you any advice here, but I definitely know streaming platforms. You can't get on those, but yeah, you can definitely use it to get your name out there. I would say a lot of people have done that.
Cool. Yeah, and the other thing I know we got like 5 minutes before we get kicked is I'm wondering
Wow.
about the name. So I've been using Shady G since 2008, but
Damn.
yeah, most people that I talk to are on Instagram on Funancialism. So I don't want to confuse people and be like, go to It's Real Shady G, my other Instagram. Oh, come to Funancialism when you're going to learn about money. I don't want to keep doing that. So I
Mm.
feel like I need to make a choice where I stick to one. And maybe occasionally, like in this song, I said Funancialism, aka Shady G. Let me see if I can get to that part right here.
Get real, heathen, Jesus Christ the line. Shady G, aka Funancialism. Invest all your money in
Right? So like I don't want to be known as an AKA. Um, but do you have any advice for me on how to go about that? Like how would you funnel people?
I would say at this, that's just your personal choice, man. Like, I think if this is the bigger account, then I don't know. It depends if you want to keep it separate or not. That's really what it comes down to.
I
This is a
don't.
personal preference.
I don't want
In
to
that
keep it
case,
separate.
just
Yeah.
like put it when you upload the music, make your artist name Financialism.
Okay. Happy birthday to Ricky Tyler. 24. Time to make a Roth IRA, man, if you don't have a Roth IRA, because if you invest for the next 40 years, just like, what is it, like $180 a month, you're going to be a millionaire. Just saying, just saying. That's just for Ricky Tyler. That's my birthday present for you, is that knowledge. And I got YouTube links in the bio, how to make a Roth IRA today. Takes 4 minutes, 36 seconds, which is twice as long as it takes to listen to the song that I just played. Yeah. Okay, so I might go with Financialism and like for the OG fans, like keep the Shady G because I know artists change their names and like I'm closer to Shady G when it comes to rapping, but at the same time, like Financialism has traction. I have people who I believe respect the name because I've offered so much free help and like sat on that and talked with people one on one about their finances and getting their financial health right. I feel like they would go out of their way to listen to music that I put out under this name and maybe in the song talk about Shady G here and there so they know it's a
Yeah,
thing. Eminem isn't like Slim Shady, you know what I mean? So it's like funny.
that's right.
Yeah. So there's ways to get away with it. And we have like big names like Mos Def changing his name. I don't know what it is. But like you got big people like doing that. So I want to say big thank you to you, but I also want to hold you to making that collab.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm working on some stuff after this, so I will hit you up in the DMs.
Definitely.
And I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Me too. And you gotta teach me how to scream like that, man. That's gnarly. Like your songs, like how do you do that? I really want to learn. And I've watched videos. Like I know how they do their like warm ups, the grudge and all of that. Oh, thank you. The rapping is fire. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, like hopefully we stay in touch and like I know we talk every couple months because like our energies just attract each other, but I want to definitely for you to guide me here if you can. So I'm asking you to be my mentor uh through this music journey and we create projects together and create like
How about this?
yeah, tell me. Go.
I'll help you with the music, but you got to help me with the investing.
Got you.
That sound good?
Yeah, shake my
You
head.
help me with the stock stuff. I'll help you with the music stuff.
Deal. Okay, down. I'm always posting about that and got plenty of videos in the bio, but call me up anytime and we can do that. There's the ticker. You can't see it, but the ticker just appeared where it says 1 minute 52 seconds. So is there anything else that you want to like let anyone know? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram. The name is Fadeless, Faidless.
Fadeless.
Same on Facebook, fadeless.com. You can find me everywhere. And again, I do a bunch of different projects, which if you're interested in, I can DM you everything from some synth pop stuff that I'm doing to hip hop to everything else. So I'm excited, and I hope that we can do this again at some point, dude.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having
I
me.
definitely want you to go more into like clothing and more detail into the algorithm of Spotify versus YouTube. I know they're totally different music on YouTube as opposed to like making videos. I just hit the YouTube algorithm for the first time where like
Hell
naturally
yeah.
people saw my video, and I had to like make a video about Tesla splitting their stock into 5 pieces, and I was just the first one to do it. Like 20 minutes into the announcement, I posted, and I got to do it before like the big YouTubers. And then once they posted, like
Sick.
they stopped watching my video because I was like 100 views and they were like 1,000. But that's the game. So
That's awesome.
thanks, man. I appreciate this. You got me hecka motivated and inspired to keep making music, and hopefully we could build our teamwork up. And hit me up anytime about stocks.
Oh yeah. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. See ya.
Deuces.